Hello, Build Zimbabwe. Just wanted to give you a quick update and let you know that we are at the beginning of the demonstrations in New York. We are at the offices of the Zimbabwe Permanent Mission to the United Nations in New York, and then we're getting ready to go out and meet with the other guys near the United Nations. I want to encourage all of you to keep up with what has been going on at home as well. We've been getting live updates from Tajamuka and other people on the ground, and there is a lot going on today in Zimbabwe and everywhere in the world, and there's a heightened sense of consciousness about our situation, and I think we need to keep up the pressure. And I want to encourage everyone from Build Zimbabwe, play your part. This is no longer time for us just to be talking. Mobilize, educate people about voters' rights and everything. And even if it looks like they're not going to be allowed to register to vote, we must win these moral victories until we start winning legal ones. We must continue putting pressure and putting pressure and putting pressure until something gives. And I'm very, very encouraged to see just how engaged Zimbabweans are. And we're here with Pastor Savanna and Patson Zamara and others, and we're going to continue pushing. Honored to be serving with these guys, and I know that if we are really, really focused, we will get our desired end. And right here at the UN, you can see there are some other people as well who have been mobilized by the government to come out and support the government of Robert Mugabe, and they call themselves Pan-Africanists, and we're not even bothering to engage them. They are just misdirected individuals, and we are going about our demonstration without paying too much attention to them, and it's going to be a great day, great day. So just keep us in your prayers, and we'll get there. Is there not a cause?
As I sit here, I'm so very uncomfortable, and part of the reason why I'm so uncomfortable is because I know that I am also part of the reason why ZANU-PF is the way it is. And when I say that, I mean I understand that for the longest, me and many others, we stood by and watched all these things happening. We saw them, we knew these were happening, but we made up all these excuses. We dreamt up all these excuses to protect the stance that we had, we silently allowed or silently endorsed what ZANU-PF was doing. This makes me so uncomfortable. I know a lot of people who are in the same situation as I am. We are so uncomfortable. We knew these things were happening. Nobody said a thing. Nobody. Let me rephrase, because at this point I have to acknowledge the people who stood by. People like Itai Zamara, who sat in the park for days on end, searching for answers, just like Dambuzo Marechera. Before him, he went in the park all by himself. And where is Itai? Itai disappeared. I will say at this point, I acknowledge Thomas Mapfumo, who for many years has been saying these things to us. He has been telling us that there is a lot of corruption in the country. He told us about how if you do not allow people to talk and express themselves or listen to them, you are technically creating an environment where people will end up taking all means necessary to make sure they're ahead, which is the situation that's happening right now in Zimbabwe, and this is where we are. I must also acknowledge a lot of women who have stood by all these years, who have fought and done all they can, and while the rest of us were just observing. I'm not sure why we were observing, but I can tell you that part of it is that we were afraid, and I cannot express the fear, and it only takes a Zimbabwean to understand the fear that we have when we are in Zimbabwe, the fear that you take with you even as you come into a different countries where we go, the fear is still with you. It takes you a long time to unwind and get off this fear. This fear was created out of seeing all these things that can happen and that happen to you. These are not imaginary things, because we know this Itai's disappearance is not imaginary. Itai is not hiding anywhere, somewhere. Itai disappeared, and Itai has not been found. Somebody knows where Itai is. Itai is not the only person who has disappeared. We know of people who were killed. We know all these things that happened. We know of these guys, when they knock at your door at 3 in the morning, you know what that means. So this is the fear that has always been with us. And as I sit right here, I'm not saying I'm not afraid. I'm still very much afraid. Even as I have lived outside of Zimbabwe for a long time, I still have fear, because I still get the calls from my family saying, Sisi, before you move forward and do all these things, have you thought of us? Have you really thought of your family? Do you realize you have a mother and a father who is 80 years old, and my mother is over 70 years old? They live by themselves in the village, and they worry. They worry that someone will come in the middle of the night and pick them up. This is what my parents say. But as I continue to search in my mind, I cannot justify keeping quiet. I cannot justify if these are real fears that we have. I cannot justify keeping quiet. I cannot continue to let my fears rule. I cannot continue to allow the Zimbabwean government to do all these things without saying anything. It's not that I'm not afraid. I'm very much afraid. I fear when I get that 3 o'clock a.m. call from Zimbabwe, like I did with the other day with one of the guys calling me, Sisi, what do we do? Where do we go from here? They are coming after us. You begin to wonder, am I making a decision that is correct for me, for everybody? And you really have to stop and think. But at the same time, you cannot just overlook the fact that we are a sleeping nation. And when I say a sleeping nation, I'm saying that we have a president who is 95, maybe 93 years old. I'm really lost. I can't keep track as to how old our president is, but I know he's in his 90s, 95, if I'm not wrong. But when I see our president going to all these meetings that are going all over the world, where he's supposed to be representing us, and all the pictures that I see coming out of of him sleeping, I am not at all shocked that he's sleeping at 95. That is not what shocks me. At 95, when I see President Robert Mugabe walking and he stumbles and he nearly falls. So many times I've seen this happening, and it breaks my heart. It really breaks my heart. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with President Mugabe at 95 stumbling and falling, because I think that is the natural state of a body at 95. He is not as strong as he was, but there is something very wrong with a nation being led by a 95-year-old man who can barely stand or lift his next foot, who people have to stand around and hold. And I do not think that looking at President Mugabe sleeping, there is anything wrong with that, but it is where he is sleeping. He should be at home resting, because at 95 his body has done what it needs to do. I pretty much cannot understand why people around him, Grace Mugabe, is allowing Robert Mugabe, her husband, if she really cares for that man, she should not allow that to happen. If all the people that are around him really care for him, they should not allow that to happen. There is no way a 95-year-old person can say to them, I am going, and he can go, if they do not allow that to happen. Yes, he is the president, because you keep pushing him. I cannot understand a nation where they put in a 95-year-old person as the next candidate for a party and they say he's competent. I cannot wrap my brains around that. I continue to say, if you guys are saying this is what we need in Zimbabwe, then all of you need to go. All of you need to leave, because we have young people, we have others who are more capable, who need just an opportunity. How can we continue to squash all these dreams for 36 years? We are allowing this to happen. For 36 years we are allowing ZANU-PF to continue to abuse us. I at this point do not know where the direction that we are going. I, just like any other women that I have been calling, and we have been working at this, we are saying we can no longer stand aside. We do not. We are going to be in New York. We are in New York when the president arrives on the 17th. From the 17th to the 21st, we are going to be in New York City. We want to see a nation being built. We do not want to see a nation being disrupted. We would like to see a new nation being built. We have the capabilities. We have people who are able. We have a lot of Zimbabweans who are out there who can actually help in building. I do not understand why my government do not want to listen to us. We are the children that you sent to school. We are the children that you allowed to grow, you nurtured. And now when we come back and say, hey, this is not right, you arrest us, you put us in jail. How can we build this nation? We would like to build Zimbabwe. We are here to build Zimbabwe. We want to be part of the solutions. We want to be the citizens that build Zimbabwe. We want to be the citizen builders. We want to be able to contribute to the nation. You cannot stop us from being part of a nation that we are part of. And as we look at this nation and we see everything that's going on, and I understand that we may not agree on everything, but at the end of the day, what we want, we as Zimbabweans, is to see Zimbabwe become a better nation.
Okay, guys, we really want to thank you. We really want to thank you for this day. You guys came out, you supported the cause because you are saying enough is enough. But we are not done yet, but for tonight, for today, we are done here. But tomorrow we are meeting again tomorrow at 4 p.m. We are going to, please, we are going to church tomorrow at...
Tomorrow we are going to pray for Zimbabwe. We are going to be at 540 Lennox Avenue. That is next to Harlem Hospital. Take number 6 train all the way to 135. Sorry. Take number 203 to 135. Take the number 203 to 135. But next to Harlem Hospital, we are going to pray for our country. We need to come and pray for our country at 4 p.m. Be there, be square. If you don't pray for your country, Mugabe will stay and take it away from you. Guys, this is our time. Yes. This is our time. Yes. We have been standing quiet for how many years? 26 years. We stood quietly while Mugabe ripped us, took everything from us. Now Gracie Mugabe is going to do the same thing. The next person will be Robert Jr. and this country will belong to the Mugabes. How is that possible? Do you have children? Do you want to see the future of our children? My son, I sacrificed, I came here. I never saw him until he was 15. I told you, I missed the time he was growing because I had to come here to be able to feed him. We cannot let that continue to happen with everybody. This is our time. Thank you so much. My dreams have been realized by just seeing everybody here like this. Thank you so much. All right, guys. We are going live again. And
fellow Zimbabweans, today we have gathered and now become our custom.
Finally.
We have gathered here in New York in the same way our brothers and sisters have gathered in Zimbabwe today. In the same way our brothers and sisters have gathered in the United Kingdom. They've gathered in Kenya. They've gathered in Canada. They've gathered in South Africa to stand up against corruption, injustice and poverty. To say it is wrong, it has no place in our nation, it has destroyed our future, and we shall not take it anymore. Today we are here at the United Nations. The General Assembly begins soon. Robert Mugabe will be here. He has led a government that has destroyed the nation of Zimbabwe. We know this ourselves because we are Zimbabweans. We are the ones that have suffered at the hands of the destruction of the government of Zimbabwe for 36 years.
Yes.
We entrusted them with our future,
yes,
and they destroyed it. Yes. We gave them our flag, and they have embarrassed what this flag stands for.
Yes!
So today we are taking this flag back.
Yes.
We say to our government, you are no longer a government that we trust.
No more! No more!
You have taken everything that we have. Our fathers and our mothers went to war so that we could be free from colonialism. But you have become far worse oppressors, government of Zimbabwe. You are a far worse oppressor than Ian Smith and colonialism.
Yeah.
And therefore, we are now saying to you, because of the future of our children, we will no longer be silent. Our nation has been raped whilst we watch. Our families have been abducted whilst we watch. Our brothers and sisters have been killed whilst we watch. Our friends have been jailed whilst we watch. And today we say no more. No more shall we stand by and watch. Today we say no more. No more. No more. Shall we watch our senior citizens suffer?
No.
Shall we watch our working class become enslaved?
No.
Shall we watch the talent of our country live and go?
No.
Shall we watch our toddlers being eaten alive?
No.
Shall we watch our resources be abused?
No.
Shall we let men and women be corrupt with our land?
No.
And so we say no.
No more.
We say no more.
No more.
No more.
No more.
How can a government lose $15 billion and do nothing about it? How can nobody be arrested? Nobody is questioned when we lose that kind of money. We say no more.
No more.
We want that money back. We say no more.
No more.
How can the government preside over 90% unemployment? We say no more.
No more.
How do we have no water in our hospitals, yet government ministers have swimming pools full of water? We say no more.
No more.
How do corrupt ministers keep their jobs, yet our relatives go for months without salaries? We say no more.
No more.
Ko munonorapwa sei kunze kwenyika muchipila ndege isu tichisala nezvipatara zvamakaramba kugadzira. We say no more.
No more.
Rapwawo kuparenyatwaka.
Yes.
Rapwawo kugomoka.
Yes.
Vana vako ngavanozvarirawo kugomoka.
Yes.
Imi munokwira ndege moenda kuSingapore, mari yamunoshandisa kuenda ikoko inokwana kuvaka chipatara kumusha.
Yes.
We say no more.
No more.
Why have you abducted people? Where is Itai Dzamara?
Yes.
You took him. Bring back Itai. 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 Bring back Itai.
Bring back Itai.
No more.
No more.
You will not abduct people over the years. In the 1980s, you murdered government of Zimbabwe. You murdered over 20,000 of our brothers and sisters in Matebeleland. Today we are standing for them.
Yes.
You have intimidated us over the years to keep quiet. Makati chikisa kuti musataure. Imi makavaura. Stand here, it is symbolic to come to the United Nations that we are not funded by anyone else except our hunger.
Yes.
We are funded by our desire to see a better Zimbabwe than the one we have.
Yes.
We want a Zimbabwe that is progressive.
Yes.
A Zimbabwe that is part of the international community as economic refugees.
Yes.
All the Zimbabweans that have acquired knowledge across her borders, we want them to be able to come back home and proudly build their nation.
Yes.
Away with intimidation, away. Away with abductions, away. Away with corruption, away. Away with thieves of our resources, away. Away with those who don't care about the destitute, away.
Kana muchida kuvewo kutanga kunzwa nyaya dzakadai mazuva ese, garai makateya pa YouTube nekuklika button rakanzi subscribe. Munobva maita wokutanga pa ZimDI TV News kunzwa zviri kuitika.
ZimDI TV for the diaspora in the diaspora.